Stand by to receive our transmission.
Just a little fine-tuning, little tenderizing, here on
down we go.
Here on the stuff here before we go on the air. We gotta make sure everything is not going wonky here on our equipment that we have. I always like it when I come in here day to day because nothing's ever consistent. It's like a new place every day because settings are different. There's control boards. There's things that are different and better. And
hey, at least you didn't do like I did the other day. I forgot that I was on the back channel, and so I had the main channel turned off, and I came on and talked for like 2 minutes.
When was that?
Great. It was great. It was 2 minutes of dead air for everybody else, but I was killing it in here.
Isn't that when we do our best work when no one hears us? That's the problem.
Well, it must be every Saturday from 7 to 10.
Oh, that's not right.
Noticed how you included up till 10 on that.
Well, because everybody starts to listen when you're on. That's when my mom tunes in. That's when our friend up there who thinks Bob Newhart died 2 years ago tunes in. That's where our friend from the left coast tunes in.
Who are you talking about?
Everybody who listens. They listen 10 to noon Saturdays.
That's right, including him.
Even Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, Arnold. Well, good morning. It's BK on the air. I know when I say good morning and you hear the podcast, that it may not be the morning, but it's the morning when we do the show live
it's morning
here.
Somewhere.
WBHF.
Which means it's drinking time somewhere. Sorry.
Well, for you always keep track of that.
I do. I don't know. Actually, I don't. It's drinking anytime. I don't on air. I have never done that. I've never on stage.
Right.
I have never at work.
Well, of course not.
Ever.
Yeah, no, we never.
People who think, "Oh, I'm a better actor when I'm drunk." No, you might convince yourself you are.
You are. Who do you think you are, John Barrymore? Who do you think you are? But you know what's funny? You though, depending on where you are, you always have a drink of something in your hand. No matter what it is.
I do like to.
You got a bottle of water. You got coffee mostly, or something else, or whatever.
Look at you see two of my three main beverage items right in front of you. I've got my water bottle.
Right.
I've got my coffee. Those are my first two things, and I drink that all the way through till my day is done.
And when we go outside, show me what's behind your truck seat. What's in the truck out there?
There's nothing.
Anything in the car? Nothing?
No, you go ahead and take a look.
Okay.
I can't tell you.
What's in the kitchen at home?
Oh, at home? Boy, I embrace the vodka.
I know there's at least
bourbon.
some Irish whiskey at home that I brought to you for Christmas.
There's all kinds of whiskey.
Unless it's gone. It might be gone
I'm
already.
like Scotty. Sometimes I have to get a little. I have to go have a little wee bout of something.
A wee bout.
Yeah, wee bout of shore leave.
A wee bout. I've got so much stuff here to do today. I'll just warn everybody. WBHF, AM 1450 and 100.3 FM here at the radio station. You can stream us at WBHFradio.org or download the free version of TuneIn or Radio Garden, two great apps that you can choose from hundreds upon dozens upon hundreds of radio stations and content, but just listen to us and program us and click the little heart thing and make us your favorite station. And I know Alan would really appreciate that. I've got so much, I'm holding in my hand right here, I've got so much to talk about today that I'm going to have to go just all the way up to, I don't know, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe 1:30. I know we'll go off the air at 12, but I need to find a way to go further. I'm tinkering around with the idea of doing an extra hour on Saturday. Not every Saturday, but every now and then when I have more to talk about than I can squeeze in. I'm thinking about doing an extra hour and call it like BK Extra or BK Extra Helping or BK Seconds or something like that. Let's have some seconds of BK.
We've already had one breakfast, but what about second breakfast?
Or I'll work on my first lunch or my second lunch. Just doing another hour of just talking about stuff and stuff that I have, or maybe squeezing in some more fun content. I'm mulling around it even. I don't know whether to do it Facebook Live or YouTube Live. Some people say one is better than the other to do and then transfer it to the other. But I sort of say if I do it, YouTube Live to me sounds more appealing because it's YouTube. That's kind of what it's used for. And here Facebook can be kind of wonky when it comes to live stuff, like dropping out or messing up or not sounding or looking that great, not having as much control over it. So maybe YouTube. So I don't know. I might do that.
Are you thinking of doing this at home or doing it like
here?
Right?
Probably at home. I could do it here before I left the station, I guess. I could do it here.
I just didn't know how you were planning to do it because I know you and I, and let's be honest to the audience, we are begrudgingly being dragged into the idea that video is important for broadcasters.
And let's emphasize the word begrudgingly.
I'm serious. People are like, because
I don't want
to share pictures.
That.
I'm like, no, that's a post to tell you to go listen.
Right. It's audio. We're audio. We're ear.
I want to
exist
for us. In your head, not on your screen. I don't want you. I don't want you to look like. What's he got in the background? Did he just pick his nose?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Wait, why is he crossing one eye? Who's in the room? He seems like distracted. I don't need you distracted.
Look at that shirt he's wearing.
Right, exactly. First of all, I don't want to... My friend, Kristen Gates...
I don't have to deal with that.
Who has been telling me this is coming and I need to start embracing it. She goes, I hate it. I hate it every day because I used to be able to get up and go straight into the studio.
Right.
No makeup, no hair, just put on a hat and just go because I'm on the radio. Now I got to get dialed up and make sure I look good because I have to be on camera.
Let's put it this way. On radio, we could technically not hear because we have windows, but we could, if we're audio only, I could do it with a shirt on and no underwear. Or just or underwear only.
Dude.
I mean, no one would know. I could be as comfortable as I wanted.
I make myself very comfortable when I'm podcasting.
Why not?
Because I don't have video.
So anyway, that's where and everybody thinks, oh, it's old-fashioned as radio. I'm like, no, there's something about audio only. It leaves you, because back in the old days, I just said it's not old-fashioned, but I'm going to use an old-fashioned example here. Back in the old days when I would hear classic DJs, by the way, and today, it's someone's birthday today who's no longer with us who was a classic DJ. Wait till we get to on this day, you'll hear that.
Was it
Wolfman? It could be. You may have just ruined it. I was going to tease it, but guys like Wolfman Jack, guys that were on the radio back in the day, you never knew what they looked like.
Right.
They would be descriptive on the air, tell you about things and talk about it. It was audio only, and it was left to your mind to fill things in. That's why I always kind of liked radio plays back in the day. I did listen to a lot of the old ones. I listened to one called The Whistler, which was very interesting. I used to listen to Gunsmoke. I heard Gunsmoke, the radio play, which William Conrad, who played Cannon on television, did the voice for Matt Dillon, and he had a great voice. He did the voice for the Lone Ranger as well on the animated cartoon The Lone Ranger. William Conrad, great voice for radio. Dragnet with Jack Webb. It's just fun. Superman, Flash Gordon. I got into those and still listen to them every now and then. There's something about listening to something in audio form that I don't know, makes it more interesting for the listener to kind of not see it but make up in their own mind what things look like. Star Wars did a radio drama. They did a radio drama for Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi on NPR. And now it's available on like DVDs and downloads and stuff, Blu-rays and downloads. Sorry, CDs and downloads. You can listen to it. And it was phenomenal. They've got to tell a lot more of the story of Star Wars and fill in all the gaps that you didn't see on the movie. And George Lucas sanctioned it. It was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Audio is fun.
I just know you and I agree. Everything you said, I don't need to repeat it. But we are still being kind of dragged into this.
I'll do it. I mean, I'm just the earliest stages of it. And I do appear on podcasts that do video. Right. You know, these live YouTube videos. And I think it's fun. Wonderful retro pals that I have doing that. But I'm not running it. It's my channel, so I don't have to do
Someone
that.
Someone else has to figure
audio.
out. And I don't want to edit.
Well, we'll have a lot of news, and Golden Rage of TV might visit the Pink Panther coming up. It's BK on the air.
And now, these messages.
Elements took the sugar out, come up and taste the mint. So fresh, they take your breath away. Come up to Elements.
Come up to the world of Elements where it's cool and refreshing. Elements are sugar-free and so fresh they take your breath away.
So fresh and cool and sugar-free. Come up to Elements.
There's only one Tic Tac, the original Mouth-Whack.
Daddy bought me the best mints money can buy. But nothing matches the whack of a Tic Tac.
I drifted for a while. Lozenges, breath mints, but you can't beat the old whack.
There are lots of substitutions, but there's only one taste sensation like Tic Tac, the original Mouth-Whack.
Now there's a Tic Tac with berry on one side and cherry on the other. A Tic Tac double whack pack.
Yes! That's awesome!
Greetings, fellow classic TV fans. The Pink Panther show ran on television from 1969 to 79. This coolest of cartoon characters actually started on the big screen during the opening and closing credits of the 1963 Blake Edwards movie. Reportedly, the audience reaction to the new cartoon character was extremely enthusiastic. The Pink Panther was animated by Friz Freleng from Warner Brothers and Looney Tunes fame. Based off the reaction to the film, Freleng, along with his production assistant David H. DePatie, were contracted selected for 156 six-minute movie house shorts for United Artists. DePatie is quoted as saying, "With that, we were in business and moving right along." During this era, feature films were usually accompanied by a cartoon, and the Pink Panther soon became one of the most popular. In 1964, one of his episodes, entitled Pink Fink, became the first ever animated short to win an Oscar. The unforgettable soundtrack was supplied by the 4-Oscar, 20 Grammy Award-winning composer Henry Mancini. Just hearing those first 4 notes would simply delight audiences because they knew exactly what was coming. 5 years after winning the Oscar, the Pink Panther movie shorts were repurposed for Saturday morning television, where it remained for a full decade under multiple different titles. DePatie and Freeling believed the Panther never really needed to speak, but it was not without trying. Impressionist Rich Little supplied limited dialogue in 2 episodes titled Sink Pink and Pink Ice. But according to Frizz, having a voice for him just didn't work. Most fans agree that the cunning, suave, sophisticated Pink Panther, along with some cool jazz, funny facial expressions, and pure elegance, proved to be the perfect mixture for what would become one of the most beloved cartoon characters on both the big and small screens. This is Pat McCormack with your Retro TV trivia from the Golden Rage of TV. You can also find me on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram at Golden Rage of TV and on Twitter at Golden Rage of TV1. And now back to BK on the air.
Little Pink Panther for you there. Thank you, Pat McCormack, for going into the world of Pink Panther. I loved the old original Pink Panther animated cartoon. They were so funny, and I even enjoyed the movies with Peter Sellers as well, which was really wacky and crazy. It's
this
kind
goes
of
to
comedy.
show you how your perception of what you think you're going to do can taint what it is. Because I grew up with the Pink Panther cartoon, and when I heard that, it's based that there's a Pink Panther movie,
right?
And I was like, oh, I want to see a cartoon movie. And I'm like, where is he? It starts off in the credits. We see him in the diamond.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, who's this Joker? Who's this guy? And I had because I was so expecting one thing. I almost dismissed the comic genius of Peter Sellers in that movie. I only, when I got older and went back, realized I was expecting a cartoon. It's not a cartoon.
Sometimes you were so disappointed with entertainment as a kid, because I remember that's along the same lines of you telling me the television series Alice. You were disappointed because it wasn't about Alice from the Brady Bunch.
Because there was
about
only
the waitress,
one Alice.
The waitress Alice. You're like, wait a minute,
the
Alice
only
isn't
Alice
in
I
this.
knew was the Brady Bunch. Why does it? Isn't that her?
That story crosses over with your Pink Panther disappointment too. And once we learned, it wasn't the cartoon. The movies were hilarious. I didn't see what I did see of the new one with Steve Martin. I thought it's not. Steve is a funny guy, but I just didn't think it was, of what I saw of it, I didn't think it was that great of a Pink Panther, Inspector Clouseau type thing.
I kind of feel the same way I did about Johnny Depp, who I think is a very good actor, trying to redo Willy Wonka.
Yes, even worse on that.
Because Steve Martin is a fantastic
actor.
He
is, and so is Johnny Depp.
Great at comedy.
Johnny Depp's great too.
He was not good trying to reinvent a character that Peter Sellers was just
pretty much owned the pink slip on that character. He had the title. He owned the title of that thing. A lot of people were putting that on Twitter not too long ago. Somebody put out the question, who owns a role that should never be replaced or ever try to be recast? They were throwing a lot of them out there that I agreed with. Some of them not so much, because I'm like, some of them are iconic. I mean, obviously, at one point I thought William Shatner is Captain Kirk, but then again, they made the new Star Trek movies, and Chris Pine did a yeoman's job of bringing that character into more modern films, and that's fine. But not so much. Everybody's like, well, that's been proven with James Bond. James Bond changed a few times so that you can accept that someone else playing that character. We've established that. Some people said, Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones. I'm like, well, I don't know if I could see someone else playing Indiana Jones. That's another one where I'm like, nah, that could be. Not that I don't like Harrison Ford, but I could see that being recast in someone else if it's done well.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a difference, I think, between somebody who delivers a performance that we just associate with that character, versus a performance that just cannot be done by anybody else.
Right. I mean, in television, it was done with Doctor Who several times. I mean, I never was a Doctor Who fan, didn't watch it, but that character has changed over and over again. So there's a lot of that muddling and going about out there. I got a lot of stories today, so I got to try to get to them all. The first one up, I don't know if Alan heard about this, but it's an interesting story. Tron 3, it says on several news outlets, is finally out, and this is their words, out of development hell, and filming will start soon. This particular story is from Screen Rant, Cooper Hood at Screen Rant. Disney's moving forward with Tron 3, starring Jared Leto, and long last with Pirates of the Caribbean director joining the project. Jared Leto is another one of those people where you're like, man, he's really horrible in some things, but when he's really good, he's really great.
Good. Yeah.
Because we saw the Gucci film about Gucci. Did you see that?
No.
Where he's playing Gucci's brother, who doesn't have a lot of talent, and he's in prosthetics and he looks like an older bald guy. He was amazing in that movie. Jared Leto was amazing.
Scott?
It may have been Ridley Scott that directed that. Yeah, I think you're right. But it's about a subject that I don't really care about. But the movie's so well done. I'm like, oh man, Jared Leto was fantastic in that.
I thought
he's really a good actor.
The character he played in Blade Runner 2049 was phenomenal.
Was very odd character.
Yeah, but it stood out. It's like, wow.
But then again, he'll go and play the Joker
for
DC, and it wasn't great at all. I didn't care for that at all. And I hear he's kind of a weirdo. I hear during the Suicide Squad that he sent his co-stars bullets in the mail because he's trying to get so much into a character. And I'm like, how much of that is wanting attention and how much is it that really gets you into character? I don't know. But I do agree that Jared Leto is a great actor. Disney relaunched the Tron franchise in 2010 with Tron Legacy. Starring Garrett Hedlund and Olivia Wilde, and Jeff Bridges was there. The movie proved to be a decent-sized hit, it says, earning $400 million worldwide. Actually,
I got to tell you.
Hold on, 770-386-1450. We got a call coming in. Let's see how horrible the phone systems and the phone sounds today, and we'll see what's going on here. Hey, it's BK on there. Hello.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. What's going on there, buddy?
Hey, listen, I was just going to add a comment to what y'all were talking about. I think one character that could be changed is the guy who does the Jack Reacher, Tom Cruise. Replace him with the guy who's doing it on TV. He's closer to the description that's in the books.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. The guy that was in the series, and by the way, fantastic season, and I really hope it gets renewed.
What
for
was the series
2.
called?
It was Jack Reacher.
Well, who's playing him? Do you know who?
I can't remember the actor's name, but he was much more. He was exactly as described in the book.
Okay, good. Well, there's a good example right there. But there's someone. Is there someone that you could never replace playing somebody though?
I think probably it would be Sean Connery with James Bond. I mean, Craig did a good job, but Sean Connery, I mean, he is the epitome of Bond movie I saw with Sean Connery.
You didn't like any of the Bonds that followed after Sean Connery, huh?
Well, they were okay, but it was just, it was kind of like, mayonnaise and ketchup. Mayonnaise is always
whatever
better.
your preference is. Right? Well, okay, that's a good way to put it. I do think I find something great about all the guys that play James Bond.
I'll tolerate the other Bonds, but there's only one.
But you know what? You are right. Sean Connery was the best James Bond. I'll have to go with you on that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was. Guys, I enjoy listening to you. Y'all have a great day.
We enjoy you calling. Thank you very much. Bye.
Yeah, I think I have to massage this a bit. It's not that there can't be other people. It's what we're trying to say is there that one role that no matter what, no one's going to be able to do it justice, that it'll fail.
Right. And some people would also argue, someone else came up with the idea of Clark Gable as Rhett Butler in Gone with the Wind. Well, I think that's more of a movie thing. You can't really redo or remake Gone with the Wind. It's one of those classics. Even though they did try, they had a miniseries that came out based on a book called Scarlet, and Timothy Dalton played Rhett Butler, and was it Val Kilmer's ex-wife playing
was it?
Playing her, yeah.
I think it was Joanne Whaley. At the time, Whaley Kilmer.
Yeah. She was playing, what's the character's name? Who is she in the movie? I can't even remember. My wife's going to kill me. Scarlet. That's how much I don't like Gone with the Wind, is I can't even remember her name. Yeah.
Unpopular opinion, I still think Gone with the Wind is the most overrated bad movie I've ever seen.
It is, and I'm with you on that. Oh, wait a minute. We agreed on a movie.
Uh-huh.
That happens from time to time. That's good. I do agree with that. It's not a bad movie. It's a classic movie. I realize that.
But it's classic.
Not, yeah.
For me, I think it's not. It's not. I can't even sit through it.
No, and I have seen it once, but it took me
twice.
It took me 3 times to watch Gone with the Wind once, and I finally did see it. So
bad.
But it's not bad. For me, it's just overblown,
And my wife was like, "That's the style of acting in that day." I'm like, "Yeah."
Well, it's not the style of acting. I
go watch Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. It is 100 times better acted.
Well, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington came out later than Gone with the Wind.
Same year, 39.
What? I thought that was in the early 50s. Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Okay. Well, I don't have a problem with the old.
Sir.
I don't have a problem with the old style of acting. It's just if it's a good movie, it's a good movie. It's BK on there. We'll be back.
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn.
Yodelay-oo, Swiss Miss Instant Cocoa. What's the best way to start your day?
Give a little yodel.
Swiss Miss has lots of rich chocolatey cocoa and milk already in it. So all you do is add hot water and give a little yodel. Okay, gang, what do you do for a warm-up break? Swiss Miss Instant Cocoa. Yodelay-oo.
They say that a friend in need is a friend indeed. When those in the Big Apple are in need of a friend, they call on this man, Robert McCall. He'll even the odds.
You call me when you do. Believe me, I will be there. I'm here to protect you.
Edward Woodward is the Equalizer.
Wednesday nights at 9.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here on AM 1450 and 100.3 FM WBHF. Oh, having a good time. I'll get back to that Tron 3 story. We had to take a call there, but we always try to take calls when the phones are working around here. Sometimes the phones just kind of decide.
Do you have somebody on hold now?
I'm going on strike. I do have someone. Well, yeah, I have someone on hold. Your favorite buddy. I think you and him are like the bestest of pals, and it's more of a virtual radio relationship. It's awesome. On the air, I know who this is. Hey there, buddy. You're off hold now. Go ahead and talk.
So let me get this right.
Oh, that's better. Yeah. Yes, I want to start doing videos because I think that's the way things are moving.
Is it the powers that be that want y'all to start doing videos, or is it you?
No, it's not the powers that be. It's just that society now is turning to people doing video on. If you keep up, and I know you don't keep up with this stuff because you're getting older, but it's the way things are now on video. People are doing videos, YouTube live videos, Facebook live videos. People want people to see their face and talk and stuff.
Every radio show is starting to broadcast.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
video.
well, to keep up with the Joneses, I guess I'm going to have to do that. I suppose.
was hoping the fad wouldn't catch on.
Yeah, that's why, Eric.
Now I understand.
Yeah, no one's making me do it.
Right.
Yeah, no one's making me do it. So,
Eric, trust me on this one. BK and I have talked about this for months now. We've been watching this.
Yeah,
trend.
we're fighting it tooth and nail. Believe me.
Everybody keeps saying, if you want to grow your brand, you need to be on video. You need to film yourself on video. You need to release video. I'm like, I don't want to.
We don't want to do it.
And I'm.
But I've seen you too. I've seen you too.
Yeah, I know.
No one wants to see this. No.
No, you don't want other people to see us, is what you're saying, right?
No.
Okay. Well, I mean that's part. That's going to be part of it.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, we're not disagreeing with you. We're agreeing with
you. And Alan.
Yeah.
I actually agree with you on something.
Okay. What?
Uh-oh.
Gone with the Wind, the worst movie known to man.
It's bad.
I don't think he said that. I don't think he says the worst movie known to man.
I can't sit through it.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's bad. What was the plot?
Well, it had a plot.
Well,
exactly.
It's spectacle, and people love it because it was big and gaudy and audacious. But
there you go. By the way, Eric, you do videos. By the way, people get to see you.
Yes, it's because I look like Will Smith.
Where? In like the dark with no lights on? Is that where you look like him?
Oh, okay.
I told you who you look like, Eric. Do you remember the guy? Do you remember the original Planet of the Apes movie with Charlton Heston, the first one?
Look like him.
You do look like the astronaut. That's the one astronaut. I can't remember his name, but he's the one.
Didn't he die?
That dies. Yeah, but he's yeah. Well, all of them die eventually. But you look like the one astronaut actor the actor that plays that astronaut with Charlton Heston. I can't remember his name, but you look like that guy. You know who I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, which is not bad. There's nothing bad about it.
Okay.
Well, I got you down as a no for us doing video, and guess what? We're going to end the call right now because we agree with you. That's great. How when we agree?
We agree, but we still end up doing it.
Right, we might do it anyway, though. Sorry.
Please, just leave it as is.
I can't help it, man. We got to go with the flow. We went from having an outhouse to indoor plumbing. We have to go with technology sometimes. I'm sorry. It happens. But thank you for calling. As usual. Well, good. You're going to watch it.
Listen.
Good, and you'll watch it too. If I do videos, you'll watch them. I know you will.
All
right.
All right.
Adios.
We love you. Bye.
Bye.
So there's Eric.
Happy New Year.
Checking in. Happy New Year, too, by the way. Yeah, we're going to flash the audience after the next break, but I want to continue this Tron 3 story. Tron 3 is out of development.
Say it! Say it!
If only I could get the title out of my mouth, that would be great.
Words.
The movie Tron 3 proved to be a decently sized hit when it did come out, if you remember, earning $400 million worldwide. However, the studio has struggled for years to get a sequel off the ground. Now, the original director, Joseph Kosinski, has plans to make Tron Ascension, but that never transpired. That was his original plan. Jared Leto then joined the effort to make Tron 3 in 2017, which was at the point described as a reboot for the franchise, but also stalled through development. Well, that's bad, wasn't it? I guess Tron 3 was a direct sequel, wasn't it? I'm sorry, the Tron Legacy was a sequel to the original film.
It was 20 years later.
Again, I don't want a reboot. I hate that word, reboot. 82, so now it's
but it was basically the kid,
right,
of
Flynn,
of
Jeff Bridges.
Right.
Now, let's come up to today. Now Disney's finally moving forward with Tron 3 plans, as it's reported all over the place. Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Men Tell No Tales director Joachim Roning is in the talks to helm the next assignment, which is titled Tron Ares. A-R-E-S is the name of the movie, the working title. And Leto attached as the lead, so he looks like he wants to be in it. According to the report, Tron Ares is considered by Disney to be a sequel to Tron Legacy, which is also a sequel to the first Tron, instead of a franchise reboot. Good, I vote for that. The movie is currently assembling a crew with a plan for production to begin in August of 2023 based on a script by Jesse Wigatow. Disney has been trying to make Tron 3 happen since before Tron Legacy even debuted in theaters. They've been trying to get Tron 3 off the ground for a long time. Writers were originally hired in April 2010, 8 months before the franchise restarter debuted. Tron 3 cycled through several writers from this point and tried to get it off the ground. It just goes through a lot of stuff here that just gets too detailed or whatever. But it looks like it's on its way and out of the development stage and actually on its way to being made. I've said this before, I'll reiterate it now. Blade Runner and Tron, they both came out same year, back in the 80s, 1982.
82?
They were two very, 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 very different science fiction movies types. And not a lot of people got them when they came out. They didn't really get it. You know, they were over your head stories, you know. They weren't Star Wars. It wasn't Star Trek. It was something completely different. I always compared Tron with Blade Runner because they have similar histories. They came out, they flopped when they came out. Over the years, they both had cult following buildup. Now everyone has seen Tron and Blade Runner. And something, even in the future, they have something in common. They both finally got a sequel. Mm-hmm. Tron Legacy got a sequel. Tron got Tron Legacy. Blade Runner 2049 was the sequel to Blade Runner. And again, I think it's proof that both the movies are still just kind of cult classics because I don't think neither one of their sequels did that well either in the theater.
Financially, they didn't.
I don't think they flopped and laid an egg, but
film-wise, they were both fantastic.
I think I enjoyed Blade Runner 2049 more than Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy had a lot. It just didn't do it for me. It was okay.
That's how I felt the first time I watched it, but then when I was on the Tronologically Speaking podcast, where they're breaking the Tron down, he convinced me, he goes, go back and rewatch it, but don't go back and rewatch it with your love of Tron.
Right.
Like this mythic thing as being a fan of the first movie.
Exactly. Which is hard to do, by the way.
Rewatch the movie for the movie itself. It was so much better the second time I watched it.
Well, watching Tron Legacy, I got the idea that I was longing, and I was thinking about the first film. And still to this day, when I see scenes where they're actually in the computer world in Tron Legacy, to me, it doesn't look like they're somewhere different. It looks like they're on another planet or something. When you watch the original Tron and they're inside the computer, it has that look of being inside a computer. And that was the first film. This one was supposed to take it to another journey.
We had Atari graphics. Now everything looks so much better.
But I'm not talking about the graphics quality. I'm just talking how it looks.
The world of the computer has evolved
right.
too.
And I see your point there, but I couldn't get over the point to where I'm like, it looks good, but it just doesn't. I can't buy the fact that they're inside a computer, but I know they are. But it's whatever. I was thinking that.
If you haven't rewatched it recently, rewatch it. The plot line, the subterfuge, the scene in the bar where the guy is like going,
Right.
We're going to take you now.
It's right.
And he's like pretending to golf. I'm like, oh,
it's very hard to see Flynn turn into a bad guy, though.
That's
because I'm like, wait,
harder.
he was such a good guy, even when he was in the computer in Tron. Flynn was such a righteous guy. And it was great because he's mad his technology was being stolen by David Warner.
It was a little strange that at the end we're like, okay, so now we're going to take
We'll be back. It's BK on the air.
Not every great movie or great arcade game makes a great home video game. That's why when Mattel Electronics turned Tron into Tron Home Video Games, we made sure the excitement of Tron gameplay found its way into your home. You'll know it the moment you square off against a recognizer, if you last that long. 4 great Tron games, 2 for Intellivision, 2 for Atari 2600. From Mattel Electronics, games as good as we say they are, maybe better.
Do you have feelings of inadequacy? Do you suffer from shyness? Do you sometimes wish you were more assertive? If you answered yes to any of these questions, ask your doctor or pharmacist about tequila. Tequila is the safe, natural way to feel better and more confident about yourself and your actions. Tequila can help ease you out of your shyness and let you tell the world that you're ready and willing to do just about anything. You'll notice the benefits of tequila almost immediately, and with a regimen of regular doses, you can overcome any obstacles that prevent you from living the life you want to live. Shyness and awkwardness will be a thing of the past, and you'll discover many talents you never knew you had. Stop hiding and start living with tequila. Tequila may not be right for everyone. Women who are pregnant or nursing should not use tequila. However, women who wouldn't mind nursing or becoming pregnant are encouraged to try it. Side effects may include dizziness, nausea, vomiting, incarceration, erotic lustfulness, loss of motor control, loss of clothing, loss of money, loss of virginity, delusions of grandeur, table dancing, headache, dehydration, dry mouth, and a desire to sing karaoke and play all-night rounds of strip poker, truth or dare, and naked twister. Warning, the consumption of alcohol may make you think you're whispering when you're not. Is a major factor in dancing like a retard. May cause you to tell your friends over and over again that you're in love with them. Also may cause you to think you can sing. Alcohol may lead you to believe that ex-lovers are really dying for you to telephone them at 4 in the morning. Alcohol may make you think you can logically converse with members of the opposite sex without spitting. It may create the illusion that you are tougher, smarter, faster, and better looking than most people. And it may lead you to think people are laughing with you. Alcohol may cause pregnancy, and it also may be a major factor in getting your ass kicked. So what are you waiting for? Stop hiding and start living with tequila.
Did a bomb go off in you?
Sort of.
You can handle it.
Oh, you bet we can. Listen, Travis and I got everything under control.
Well, I better get on the air. Who knows? Somebody might be listening.
That could be.
Hey, we're back. It's BK on the air here, cruising right along, having to delay, a few things because we're taking calls and doing things, but I don't really have a strenuous schedule on this show. I can adapt. I can go with the flow. I can endeavor to persevere, as he says in The Outlaw Josie Wales. I can always do that. But it is that time. We're going to go ahead and do it now because we put it off. It's time that we flash the audience of the news, the weird, the strange, and the bizarre. And look at this. I have the first news. From UPI, rangers at a national park in Queensland, Australia, found a massive 5.9-pound something that they said might be the largest ever on record.
Wait a minute.
It's in Australia. What do you think it is?
Is this a frog? I saw a video somewhere.
It's a cane toad.
A toad.
It's a frog.
I was like, there's no way this is real.
It showed a picture of him holding it, and if you look it up on the internet, just look up 5.9-pound cane toad, and you can see it on the internet just to see how big it is. It is unnaturally huge. The Queensland Department of Environmental and Science said it posted it on their website. Conway National Park rangers stopped their vehicle for a snake crossing the road near Arline Beach and spotted a monster cane toad nearby. Now, I don't know if the snake was going after it or it was running away from the toad. I don't know.
So funny.
The rangers nicknamed their discovery Toadzilla and removed it from the park due to the danger it could pose to the environment. Quote, a cane toad that size will eat anything it can fit in its mouth. That includes insects, reptiles, and small mammals, they said, unquote. Now, to me, the fact that a toad will eat a small mammal, that just doesn't make that. I don't even register that. I don't think frogs. I don't see frogs in that light.
Flies.
Yeah, I'm like, wow. She said the toad, believed to be a female, weighed 5.9 pounds, which could be a new record for that species of
Maybe I should have
cane
called it
toad.
Lizzo.
I like Toadzilla. That just works. But the other one works too. I was going to stay away from it. Did you see the when you watch the dinosaur specials on the Discovery Channel when they would show the old species that evolved into other things? There were giant like salamander-sized creatures back in prehistoric days, where they were like 12, 15 feet long, and and they would pop out of the water and eat like animals. I'm like, wait, it's a salamander thing. Tadpole type things. They're not supposed to eat stuff like that, but they're
them as
huge.
big as a crocodile.
Right. I'm like, they would. I guess they would eat anything, because you don't think of that type of creature being like
You're
that
hungry.
and eating
You're big.
stuff.
You gotta stay fed.
You just described me.
Well then, on that note, I've got the next news.
Well, not anything. I won't eat anything.
Doesn't look like
I'll eat
he
a lot,
skips many meals.
I'll eat a lot.
All right, from UPI, an Ohio dog named Spike has been certified as the oldest dog living by Guinness World Records after reaching 23 years, 43 days.
Yep,
that's
I saw
like
that.
twice as long as most dogs.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's a long life for a
The
dog.
record-keeping organization said Spike, the 9-inch tall Chihuahua, it's always smaller dogs,
It is.
too,
It's
because
always a
it's
smaller
easier
dogs.
for their
Yep.
systems to survive that long. Chihuahua was certified as the oldest dog living back on December the 7th. Rita Kimball, Spike's owner, said that she and her family found the canine in the parking lot of a Camden grocery store 13 years ago. Kimball decided to bring the dog home to her small farm where he immediately fit in. She dubbed him Spike. Kimball took Spike to a veterinarian who determined the canine's likely birthday as November 10, 1999. Kimball said she was watching The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon one night when she learned about the former oldest living dog, Pebbles, and realized Spike was actually older.
And on top of everything else, it was they found it. It wasn't one they bought. They found the dog and rescued the dog. We just love anytime you notice. You may notice a trend. I try to sneak in dog stories every chance we
Nothing
get.
wrong with that.
Because we love them dogs, because we have a few. I got the next news. Also from UPI, a 13-year-old Maine boy has broke a Guinness record. Cooper Wright of Cumberland Center said that he has been building with Lego bricks since he was 3 or 4 years old and received the Lego Death Star from Star Wars as a Christmas gift. Wright says he decided to attempt the Lego World Map for a Guinness World Record. That's right, a Lego World Map is what it is. The time for him to beat was 12 hours assembling this Lego of a map of the world. Wright said that he feared his attempt could be in jeopardy when the table collapsed partway through the build, sending bowls of Lego pieces crashing to the floor. That was heartbreaking. But he finished with a time of 9 hours and 14 minutes and 49 seconds, enough to officially earn the world record of making that Lego map of the world out of Legos. Again, that's
nutty.
Fun to build one, but the time limit is what's amazing.
I can't even wrap my mind around that. Here,
I could never
build
use
your Lego
build.
project. Here's your instructions. It'll take you 12 hours.
Yeah.
No,
but you got to do it under this.
It looks like a textbook.
Hey, I was always amazed at people with Legos as a kid. Legos I could do a little bit with them, but the erector sets that they built, erector sets and things like that, I couldn't do it. My level was Lincoln Logs. That's my level of.
Now I will tell you,
of
I did
expertise.
get to the point where I could build and rebuild the same like spaceship, starship, Lego stuff that I didn't need the instructions. But that first
After you've
time
done it,
always
yeah.
took me so long to try to watch. Like, where's that piece? And I got to find the piece that matches within the drawing. And
well, with good reason.
Who
You
knew
know,
I was learning how to do IKEA later in
you
life.
know what? Yeah, they're playing Tetris. You know what one of the biggest popular Legos right now is all the Harry Potter stuff. Harry Potter's big Lego stuff. Harry
Really?
Potter, yeah, because
I haven't had to buy Legos in so long.
Stacy's doing it for her classroom. They're building a Lego Harry Potter castle. They got the little Lego figures and stuff. They're really taking it to another Lego level.
Is there any pain more painful than finding an errant Lego with a barefoot?
Probably not. Oh, well, I'll tell you what's close is a sharp dog bone that he's been chewing on.
That's happened.
That's
to me
pretty
too.
bad too, or any dog
All right,
toy.
I've got the next news. All right. Experts have disagreed on the validity of the notion that cheese can lead to bad dreams. I didn't hear this.
I didn't
Back
either.
in 2005, a survey by now defunct British Cheese Board determined that eating blue cheese caused vivid dreams. The BBC also reports a 2015 study found that only 17% of people said that their dreams seemed to be influenced by what they ate. But Tor Nielsen, professor of psychiatry at the University of Montreal and director of its Dream and Nightmare Laboratory, said dairy products were the foods most frequently reported as causing disturbing dreams.
Wow.
Sleep junkies say that that's what they want to find out. Participants will be paid $1,000 each and also being reimbursed for the cost of the cheese. But don't go ordering any Puel or Wyke Farms cheddar just yet. Sleep Junkie will send you the list of cheeses to try. They'll cover a wide range from blue to hard, soft ripened and processed, plus vegan as well as lactose-free cheese. The company says you must be at least 21 years old to participate, own a smartwatch or fitness tracker that tracks your sleep, have a consistent sleep schedule, and be free of sleep issues and free of dairy intolerances. If you think you should qualify for this study, go to sleepjunkie.com.
Sleepjunkie.com. And you have to sleep alone, too, by the way. You can't be with anybody on that.
Why?
Oh, no, it just says it right here. Alas, you'll also have to sleep alone.
Is that because of the cheese?
I don't know. Maybe because of the effect of it. I don't know. There's a whole Gomer Pyle episode of him eating Welsh rarebit and how it gives him bad dreams. They did that. I don't think anything I eat has ever affected my dreams. What I eat before bed, and you're not supposed to eat before bed anyway because it's very bad for you. I think it's affected me sleeping because I'd have to get up and go visit a room that's in the middle of the night. That would affect my sleep, but never the dreams, I don't think.
Right.
But I'll tell you what does affect my dreams. I haven't tried it in a while, but I used to fall asleep with the television on. And if the volume was up long enough or loud enough, I would dream it would link up sometimes with what was on television, and I would have kind of a lucid in and out of sleep dream about what was going on the television.
Yep.
And that's weird. And
I've had that
I
happen.
never fell asleep during a horror film, thank goodness. It was always just during some show. Or I never fell asleep during I don't know, let's just say a certain rated type movie. I never fell asleep during one of those either. So don't even know if I want to try. Don't even want to try that experiment. So
put it on a loop.
Right. So I got one more news flash, but I'm not going to be able to time. I'm not going to be able to time do it. It involves a driver in Germany. Well, let's do the addendum version here. A driver in Germany has his license taken away after he appears to have fallen asleep behind the wheel of his Tesla, which was on autopilot and led police on a chase. Officers attempted to stop the Tesla, but the vehicle did not pull over. He was moving around 70 miles an hour and did not slow down or speed up during the attempt. Well, of course, the speed was locked.
Well, yeah.
The Tesla kept the same distance from the patrol car in front, of course, as they traveled down the Autobahn in Germany. Officers pulled up next to the Tesla's driver window and noticed that the driver, only identified as a 45-year-old male, reclined in his seat with his eyes closed and his hands off the steering wheel. See, we knew that all this was going to happen down the road.
This is coming, folks, whether you like it or not.
The driver
it's coming.
eventually woke up after 15 minutes into the pursuit and followed police instructions to pull over. Police also believe that the driver was under the influence of drugs. Further investigation revealed that the driver had placed a so-called steering wheel weight on the footwell of the car's driver's side. So there you go. I was able to sneak it in. So there you go.
No, wait. He wasn't even in the driver's seat? He was reclined in the other seat?
Yes, so. He wasn't even, I guess he was on the passenger side asleep. So
okay, that takes it to a new level. That's trust.
Ultimate trust of
trust.
AI. Because
I want to get there, though. We've talked about this. I get it. Local street driving. I'm probably still going to want to have my hands on the wheel.
Right. And I like driving. I like to drive. Nothing wrong with it.
But, I mean, if we're going to, let's say, Florida, and you're going to be on the interstate for like 6 hours.
Or cross country or something,
Why would I not have the option? I mean, fine. I'll stay behind the driver's seat. Fine. I need to be there to react. But, hey, let me watch a movie, and I'll let the car do the driving. It's going to keep the right distance. It's going to stay between the lanes.
You might want to make a cup of coffee while you're driving. You don't want to have to drive. You
I might have to get out a jug and relieve myself of that coffee,
or
and I don't want to pull over.
Yeah, because you got to make time.
So now I don't have to do that. I can take my hand off the wheel.
People that poo-poo that automated driving Tesla, just remember, folks, you've been trusting yourself to an AI computer autopilot on an airliner for years. Right. It's been around for a long time.
By the way, it's not just Tesla. Have you not seen all the new sport utility vehicles? There's a whole thing where they use Queen's We Will Rock You, and they're all and you see the driver taking his hands off and clapping because the car's going to drive itself.
And my SUV is a 2017 model, and it has what's called driver assist, meaning if I get it, I can turn it off if I want, and I usually do. If I get out of the lane, it'll nudge back in the lane by itself because it's reading the lines out there. So we don't even have to worry about what the speed limit is. Cameras now show the speed limit signs on the road and projected on your display. So there you go. Come on. I mean, embrace some of it. Question some of it. You can fight it if you want, but you don't have to fight everything. I tried that. It never works. You always lose when it comes to
fight
fight.
everything.
Don't fight technology because it's always going to win. It's BK on the air.
It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. What walks downstairs alone or in pairs and makes a slinkity sound. A spring, a marvelous thing. Everyone knows it's Slinky. It's Slinky, for fun it's a wonderful toy. It's fun for a girl and a boy. It's fun for a girl and a boy.
Get a Slinky in a size and color you like, in metal or plastic.
Butter.
What was that?
Butter.
Parquet margarine.
Butter.
No, parquet. It says right on your lid, parquet margarine.
Butter.
Parquet. Smooth, delicious. Butter.
Parquet.
Oh, yeah.
Parquet margarine from Kraft. The flavor says butter.
Remember, if for any reason you must leave your radio, please have the man at the door stamp your ear so you can listen again later.
Hey, look out, we're back. Keep your head down. It's BK on the air. I'm on the air again. Second, final hour of the show. Alan Sanders is in here with me. Hopefully he's having as a good time as I am.
Oh, always.
You got a little good news on the phone. You don't have to leave as early today as you thought, so that's good. You can hang out and have a good time for another, right about an hour or so. The pressure's off. Let's do a little On This Day in History. Today is January the 24th. January 21st, sorry. Why did I see a 4 there? I need to put my glasses on. January the 21st. Let's do this again so I'll be easy to edit in the podcast. Let's do On This Day in History. It's January 21st.
It's going to be funny because the music was playing the last time.
Yeah, there'll have to be some kind of crossfade thing going there if I make it work. But I think I can make it work.
Where'd the voice go? What's going on?
1903, Harry Houdini escapes from a police station in Amsterdam. Well, what's wrong? Did you not see that coming? You not see that coming?
Well, maybe it was early in his career.
Yeah, I don't know if it was before his feats or after. 1971, a show premiered on this day that my dad... Well, yeah, my dad used to watch this show. I remember it, but it didn't last long, I don't think, or maybe it did. There was I don't know if Alan remembers it. Alias Smith and Jones was a show. I think it was a kind of a westernish type show on ABC TV. It premiered on this day in history. My dad watched it. That's why I included it in there, because I remember it. 1973, what was number one at the box office on this day in 1973? 50 years ago. 1973. It's a little movie about a little ship that capsizes on New Year's Eve. Let me think. Oh, what would it be? A ship. Leslie Nielsen is the captain. It capsizes. It's New Year's Eve. What movie would that be? Irwin Allen?
Poseidon Adventure?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you got it. Yeah, the Poseidon Adventure. To me, that's my favorite.
The Titanic?
No. That's my favorite Irwin Allen movie is the Poseidon Adventure. I saw that as a kid, and that movie stayed with me for years, and I love that movie. A lot of people watch it on New Year's Eve, and I do it every now and then. But it's 50 years ago, 1973. 1976, on this day in history, the supersonic jet Concorde made its first commercial flight on this day on the bicentennial for us in America, 1976. I always thought it was later than that. I don't know why. Some of these dates, I'm like, I thought it was earlier or before or later. 1978, there's a song that goes to number one on this day in 1978, and it stays there for 24 weeks at number one.
Wow.
1978. So, who was big in 1978? Was it an individual or was it a group, maybe?
Well, ABBA was big in 78.
ABBA was big. The Bee Gees were big in 1978. Peter Frampton had a lot of hits. I don't know if he had one that went to
for 20
number
weeks,
one.
It's going to have to be
24 weeks.
It's going to have to cut across more genres than just
I will
rock.
give you a hint, and it'll give it away. It's from the soundtrack Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it might mean it's the Bee Gees.
It would have to be, wouldn't it?
Well, it's the album. Yeah, I said song, but I meant album. The album Saturday Night Fever goes to number one and stays there for 24 weeks.
Not
and
bad.
hey, all the songs they did on the album were probably big hits. They were big hits, too. 1979. This was interesting because either I knew this and forgot it or just didn't know it at all. In 1979, on this day in history, January 21st, Neptune in our solar system becomes the outermost planet in 1979, not Pluto.
Right.
And like Pluto moves closer. And I think, was it for a while they kind of switched, or every other, so depending on their elliptical orbit that they do. Because, for years you're like, Pluto's the furthest one out there. Pluto's our furthest planet. But in 79, I guess it was the first time that we either discovered, or due to its orbit, it came in or went out and was the most distant planet from our sun, Neptune. Today, 1983, 40 years ago, what do you think was number one on the Billboard? 40 years ago. See, you and I can remember. You can remember 83, I think, a little better than 73, which was 50. 1983.
Was it still Hall & Oates?
Not Hall & Oates. It's a different song now. We've gone into a different song for number one. It's from a group from Australia.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
that should tell you. Or AC/DC, but no, it's not them. But it is. It's a Men at Work song. But what Men at Work song was number one?
83 is going
40
to
years
have
ago.
to be Down Under, Land Down Under.
That's it. That's where they're from, Down Under. That's the first time I ever learned. Well, I didn't learn, but I had to go find out what it meant. Because in the song, they mention a Vegemite sandwich. I'm like, what is that? I live in Alabama, in America. I don't know what a Vegemite sandwich is, but a little due diligence on my part. I searched around and whatnot. And back then,
did you Google it?
No, I libraried it. I had a friend from Australia. I'm like, what is a Vegemite sandwich? No, a Vegemite sandwich is a sandwich. A Vegemite is some sort of derivative from seaweed.
It's a spread.
Is what it is. Yeah. So I'm like, okay. And they say, and here, this is a great clue to it's not very good. They say it's an acquired taste. I'm like, to me, when you say something's an acquired taste, it tastes terrible. If I have to learn or force myself to like something, I don't know that I want to do that. I don't know. Now, it's different, developing different taste buds as an adult as opposed to being a child. That's different. But if you have to acquire a taste for something, I don't know if I want to work that hard at it,
don't want to work that hard.
I don't. I mean, if I don't like it, I don't like it. I can't handle cilantro. Don't like cilantro. Don't like green peppers. I don't like raw tomatoes. There's some things I've never developed a taste for. But I like cooking. Take tomatoes and cook them, turn them into marinara sauce or fried green ones. I'm there. You got to make them unhealthy for me to like them.
I don't want to like this.
Put a little unhealthy stuff on them.
What's this good for you
and
stuff?
I like them. Birthdays today. Today is one of the funniest guys that ever lived. Birthday today. My dad thought so. I think so. Alfred Hawthorne Hill is his birthday today.
Oh,
better known as Benny. Yeah, Benny Hill, British comedian. Benny Hill show. I was watching a movie, partly a part of a movie last night that Michael Caine is in called The Italian Job. Now, I think they remade it into a newer film in the 2000s.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. Well, the original was Michael Caine, and Benny Hill is in that. The only two movies I really know Benny Hill from is The Italian Job and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang as the toy maker. That's the only two big movies. I know he probably did more, but that's really the only ones that I know him from. And hey, today, Wolfman Jack's birthday. Robert Weston. He was born Robert Weston Smith. Robert Weston Smith, Wolfman Jack, American disc jockey. He sometime hosted the Midnight Special on television. That's the show I was telling you about before MTV, when rock stars would show up on television and they aired it late at night. I think on the Fridays or Saturdays. Here's Peter Frampton, or here's Hall & Oates. It's just the only way you could tell. And they're always live on there. They did their things live on the Midnight Special, and that's how I learned how some of the groups looked back in the day. We couldn't turn on MTV and see how our singers looked after a while. Back in the old days.
Remember that really, really bad Galactica 80? What is it called?
Galactica 1980, yeah. Right. The sequel show to Battlestar Galactica.
The episode where they bring Wolfman Jack to the studio? And
I'm trying to forget it.
And it's like all working on and he goes, you're not live? He goes, no, a computer do all this. He's like,
right. And all the little blinky lights are in the background.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Not one of the best sequel television shows ever. Today is Billy Ocean's birthday, singer, Caribbean Queen, Get Out of My Dreams, Get Into My Car. He had a lot of hits. That was that's how I got Mrs. BK. I told her, I said, hey, get out of my dreams, get into my car. I wound up marrying her.
Well,
I married her. I married her. And today is Gina Davis's birthday, American actress, Beetlejuice, The Fly. Didn't she have a show where she played the president on television, or the vice president or something?
Familiar.
I can't remember what it is. Speaking of that, I'll tell you what National Day it is, too, when we come back.
Oh. For some reason or another, you sounded a little taller on radio.
America, you don't have to run out of milk.
If it's not around the house, it's just around the corner.
Have an Having a 7-Eleven store in the neighborhood is just like having your own refrigerator full up with cold, fresh milk. Right on the price, right around the corner, right there where you need it. Well, thank heaven for 7-Eleven, your neighborhood dairy store.
If it's not around the house, it's just around the corner at your 7-Eleven store.
Lasers ready.
The Battle of Galactica has begun. Where are the humans?
They are on the Universal Studios tour at the collapsing bridge and suspect nothing.
We will capture them.
In the doomed glacier expedition.
We will torture them.
At the Shark.
We will annihilate them.
They are here.
The Battle of Galactica has begun. At the Universal Studios tour.
Those are not the sounds I am seeking.
We're back. It's BK on the air. Let's go to it's January 21st. Let's finish it up and tell you what national day it is on January the 21st. Why do I want to keep saying 24? What is wrong with me?
Wait a minute. That's a long. Narrow that question.
Didn't mean for that question to be answered. Not on the air anyway. Why do I smell almonds and smoke right now? What is it you're supposed to smell? Why is my right arm feeling weird?
I smell burnt almonds.
Burnt almonds, that's it. Today is National Hugging Day. Well, I took care of that with you this morning when I came into the oh, sorry. I didn't say that on the air. And along with that, it coincides with today is National Hug Your Puppy Day. Well, that's every day. I don't celebrate that on just one day a year. If you own a puppy or have a dog of any kind, you should hug. Well, some of them don't like being hugged and arms going around them, but mine does. So show affection to your puppy whatever way you can every day.
I do.
And today is a day that my wife will never, ever celebrate on any day, no matter what it is. Even though it's officially the day today, she'll never celebrate it. It's National Squirrel Appreciation Day today.
What?
She hates squirrels. Because squirrels did something to us that we'll never forgive them for. They actually chewed the wires on a power pole down at the street level down from our home and caused the ground to short out. The resulting feedback to our house fried almost everything we had except the things we didn't have plugged into a power surge protector. Ugh. And some of them, it went through the power surge protector. So only power surge protectors only protect you so much. You know?
Yeah.
A lightning strike will usually get through one of those. It'll fry the surge protector.
When I used to sell electronics, people were like, my house got struck by lightning and your surge protector. I'm like, it's against a surge, not a lightning strike.
Yeah, lightning strike.
Surge is like when the power cuts off, it comes immediately right back on. You get a little spike of electricity. Right. You're not getting a million volts of electricity.
You know how you can protect your house from a lightning strike power surge protector? Don't have power.
No, but
live like Little House on the Prairie. You'll never. Your house may get struck by lightning. That's different. Or you may become the Flash. You may become the superhero. Who knows? Or just die like I would. So,
that would be us.
Yeah. Did you know the only thing that was left working at my house after that surge happened was back? It was back in the day where we still had alarm clocks on our nightstands. We had one alarm clock and one portable fan. That didn't, the ones that I wouldn't have cared got fried.
Right.
Didn't get fried. So, and that was terrible. I mean, it was a horrible thing. So she blames squirrels for that and wants every squirrel to die. Remember that fire ant commercial? All fire ants should die. Well, with her, it's squirrels. She doesn't like squirrels at all. So, hey, but I tell you, talk about her and her hatred for squirrels. I'll tell you something that she loved that's no longer with us. I had to break the news to her last night about this. Something from the past that my wife absolutely loves is actually coming back, and she's very, very happy about it.
Steak and Ale welcomes you back to the old country inn.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale, we're hearty dining about.
This takes me back to the old days, a place to relax and enjoy a good hearty meal, like this Kensington Club.
The Kensington Club is a sirloin steak, marinated to taste. Lovingly grilled for just the right time, it even compares with our ribs in their prime.
Come join us, it'll be like old times.
Come sup with us at Steak and Ale.
Steak and Ale. I got a story here, and this is all over the place. There's even an entire Facebook page devoted to the return of Steak and Ale. But this particular thing comes from restaurantbusinessonline.com. 14 years after disappearing, Steak and Ale is set to return. The casual dining trailblazer, known for its Tudor style decor and affordable steaks, is coming out of retirement. Yeah, when I go there, you'd see cat o' nine tails and swords and shields on the wall. All the waitresses were served up were dressed like wenches from medieval times, and some of the beef eater guys were dressed up in there. It was really like stepping into an old tavern back in medieval England. Later this year, the brand will get its first new location since 2008, when it filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy and abruptly closed all 58 of its remaining restaurants at the time. Kansas-based Endeavor Properties will open the new Steak and Ale in Minneapolis suburb of Burnsville, part of a 15-unit area development agreement announced last week. It caps a 7-year journey for Steak and Ale that began when it was acquired in 2015 by Paul and Gwen Malgamiel, I think is how you say their name, along with the Irish-themed bar and grill chain Bennigan's. Now, the Malgamiel's legendary restaurant brand set out to revive both concepts, each which were casual dining pioneers created by Norman Brinker that went bankrupt in 2008. Under Legendary's ownership, Bennigan's was back in gear in 2018. You remember Bennigan's, right? Mm-hmm. There was another chain, but it wasn't quite like Steak and Ale. But it has taken longer to update the 56-year-old Steak and Ale for the 21st century and find the right franchise partner to reintroduce it. That was what was keeping them. Quote, "We wanted to keep the same vibe, the same ambience, the same energy," Paul Magnamiel said in an interview. "It was hard to replicate it and still keep the integrity of the brand sound," unquote. Now, meanwhile, people's emotional connection to the brand, my wife included, remained intact, he said, pointing to the 50,000-member Facebook account devoted to its comeback, and the member count is rising even. And he believes the pandemic created opportunity for a polished, value-focused chain with a legacy. So, hence, Steak and Ale coming back like a mummy resurrected. Here it comes. And I love Steak and Ale. They had a steak. What was the steak I liked at Steak and Ale? It was called the Black Cracked Pepper Steak. And it was seasoned. They had their own seasoning on it, but they add, I guess, their own mixture or their own quantity or their own whatever of cracked black pepper, which was just at the right amount. It came with a big, nice baked potato and sides and stuff, and I remember that well. I remember my nephew. I got to eat at the last one. The last one locally, I think, to us, located here in the Atlanta metro area, a suburb, was down at I-285 and Cobb Parkway near Cumberland Mall. You know where I'm talking about. Exactly. There used to be one right there near that intersection, and that's the one I ate at last.
I remember the ads in Detroit, but I don't think we've ever been to one.
You never eaten at a Steak and Ale?
No, but as soon as you played the ad, I was like, I remember it.
I don't know if they're going to be like the old. Sometimes when they redo and these places come back, they aren't really like the old place. I know now that Del Taco's been back for a while. Remember, it went completely under, and then they brought Del Taco back, new logo, new this, new that. But it's nothing like the old Del Taco. I don't think it tastes like it or it is like it. And I'm not bad-mouthing these places. I'm just saying they're not like they used to be, whether they be good or bad now. I'm not saying. See, Little Caesars Pizza. I loved Little Caesars Pizza. It was the rectangular shaped pizza. I always liked how it tastes. Well, Little Caesars has been back for a while, but I think it was just somebody else bought the name, and now they're just making, low priced pizzas for people that don't really knock my socks off anymore. I mean, but they're using the brand.
Pizza.
My dad, they still use him though, right? Yeah. My dad said that about watch brands that you wear on your wrist watches. You can buy cheapo watches now with names on them from way back that are tried and true names and were great at the time they were out back in the old days. Names like Benrus and West Clock, some of these older watchmaker names, now they're gone. They've been out of business for years, but they take those logos and names from the old days and slap them on these $9 watches that they sell in department stores. And they're not them. People think they are. Oh, look, there's a Benrus watch. I used to own one of them. I think I'll buy it. What a great price. $9. That's the same price it was in 1955.
Well,
but it's not
amazing.
It's not the Benrus watch.
It's like they never went up in price.
Timex is still Timex, believe it or not. Timex still manufactures their watches, and they own them, and they're still like, fairly modestly priced, but they're still not $9. They're like one of the lowest priced Timex watches. I think is like $39, $40, $50, and they still are well made, from what I understand. So
takes a licking,
keeps on a ticking. I don't wear a watch much anymore. You know when I wear a watch now? My watch is like an accessory. if I'm going out,
it's like jewelry.
Yeah, it's like jewelry. If we're going to like the I don't know, the Gabby Awards for the Georgia Association of Broadcasters, or some award show that we get to go to by some fluke. I don't know how we get to go, but I'll dress up in a suit or dress up, and I'll put a watch on just to kind of help accessorize. I have an old watch that I've had for 35 years. It's a Timex, and it runs off a battery, but it still works. Silver bracelet band, and it works. That's the watch that I'm just going to keep go. How long is this watch going to last? Because it's still running smooth and great for the last 35 years. Now I have a watch that you wind up still. I actually bought a watch, a pretty nice one from it's like an Israeli-made watch, and it's really nice. And it's a nice watch that you never needs a battery. It's a wind-up watch. And everybody's like, and the kids are like, "What? It's a wind?" I'm like, "Yeah, you wind it. You just keep it wound up, and it's okay. Don't overwind it. You'll break the spring."
I got rid of watches so many years ago, but then last year I got the Apple Watch from my daughter and future son-in-law.
Yes.
And I love wearing it, but not because I need it to tell me the time.
You need it to tell you everything else to do.
It's like my cell phone. I don't have a cell phone to call anybody.
Right.
But it does everything else I want it to do.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get one of those watches because I have enough people in my life telling me what to do already. So I don't think I'll need another thing screaming at me.
Not telling me, but
to
it's
tell
nice.
me to do something.
What's nice is I can look down if a phone call is coming in, and it will tell me right there, spam. I just hit end, and it will stop the phone wherever. I don't even have to go get the phone.
She wanted me to the Fitbit things. She's got a newer one, but she goes, "You can have my old Fitbit if you want, and I'll have the new one, but you can have my old one." I'm like,
steps.
"Why?
You saw how many steps
Why?
you take.
Why?
To know.
Why?
How unhealthy you are.
Why?" We can keep going with this and I told her, I said, if you give me,
she wants you around for a long time.
Well, that's nice, but
unless she gets sudden an insurance policy, and then you start having to ask some
we're all
questions.
going to die eventually. We're dying right now, but I told her, I said, if I had a plan, if I had to just wear it, I'm like, I'm putting this Fitbit on my dog and letting her run around the backyard. Then I'll take it back off and I'll put it back on. I had it all planned out, but I never had to wear it, so I didn't have to instigate that deception, which is good because I might have gotten in trouble if I'd been found. I would have gotten in trouble. What do you mean might? Let me go over a few things here, kind of going on right now. Did you hear Regal Cinemas is closing 39 more movie theaters? That was unfortunate. That was being reported on GNN or Fox News here at WBHF. David Crosby passed away from Crosby, Stills, and Nash. What a group they were. What a bunch of hits they had as Crosby, and sometimes Neil Young. Mm-hmm. Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young sometimes.
And sometimes Young.
And actor Julian Sands, did you hear about him? He's missing in the California mountains hiking.
I heard that. Yes, I did hear that.
They still haven't found him, and I think it's been a long time he's been gone. They found his car.
Isn't that Bear movie coming out?
What is it? They're thinking an avalanche is keeping them from searching now. They might cause an avalanche, so they're air searching. I hope that turns out all right. It's BK on the air.
You are the new American society, the movers and the shakers. You are the new coffee generation.
Because coffee lets you calm yourself down and picks you up. Coffee gives you the serenity to dream it and the vitality to do it. No other drink does that like coffee.
Join the coffee achievers.
Do your best.
Ooh, I love this song. What was that?
It's Out of the Blue, the ELO album.
Electric Light Orchestra on Jet Records and Tapes. Distributed by CBS Records.
That's right. Let's just do it one more time. Jeff Lynne's ELO right there from his latest album. From Out of Nowhere. I think it's Out of Nowhere is the name of the album. And I say latest, but it came out like a couple of years ago. It takes them a few years to do a new album. But I do that because I got a story here. ELO's Jeff Lynne leads in the 2023 Songwriters Hall of Fame inductees, which is kind of cool to hear. It's always nice. We all have our favorite rock groups and groups that we follow. Alan loves Pink Floyd and Rush. You know, I'm a big ELO Jeff Lynne. I love the group Yes. I love Steve Miller Band, Jethro Tull. We all have our favorite groups growing up, and we cross too. We both like Fleetwood Mac and the Eagles. Stacy, my wife, loves the Eagles. But it's nice to hear when they're awarded something. Well, ELO's Jeff Lynne, the artists Sade, Glenn Ballard, Snoop Dogg, Gloria Estefan, Teddy Riley, and Liz Rose lead the inductees for the 2023 Songwriters Hall of Fame. That's the SHOF, which will be held on June 15th at Manhattan's Marriott Marquis Hotel. Now, additional special award nominees will be announced soon as well. Now, just to show you how out of tune I am and older I'm getting to sleep. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only know 4 out of all those names. I'm not familiar with the others at all. I don't know who Teddy Riley is, and I don't know who Liz Rose or Glenn Ballard are. Nope. Are those ringing a bell for you either?
Not at all.
Let's give you a little background on Jeff and ELO, probably my favorite band of all time. Jeff Lynne began in the 60s with a group called the Idle Race, and then in the early 70s he joined a group called The Move with his bandmate Roy Wood. And they both then went on to form the Electric Light Orchestra in 1971. Roy Wood moved on after one album of ELO, and he was really hit it big in England, but he really never made it over here to the United States. Then, between 1975 and 1986, ELO scored 15 top 20 hits, all written and produced by Jeff Lynne. Now, over the years, he created such ELO classics as you remember, too, and you'll hear some of the bumpers on my show. Evil Woman, Showdown, Mr. Blue Sky, Living Thing, Do Ya, the song Xanadu from the movie Xanadu, Sweet Talking Woman, Telephone Line, Turn to Stone, and one of the biggest hits they ever had in 1979, Don't Bring Me Down.
Love that
Among
song.
so many more that he's done. Now, along with the film Xanadu, he contributed songs to the soundtrack of a movie called Electric Dreams and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. It's a song called Wild Times. That's kind of playing when they're dancing around in the movie, where they're kind of happy in the Sherwood Forest. You kind of hear a song playing in the background. Well, that's a Jeff Lynne song they did. It's actually on the soundtrack. The Michael Kamen score, which is a great score to the film too. Michael Kamen was great. He scored Die Hard, and for years you couldn't even get the soundtrack to Die Hard, and then they finally released it. Great movie score. Now, in addition to co-writing When We Was Fab with George Harrison for his Cloud Night album, which also had that song Got My Mind Set on You, which was a big comeback hit for George that Jeff Lynne produced, and along with all the Traveling Wilburys tracks that he was involved in, including Handle with Care and Into the Line, Jeff Lynne collaborated with Tom Petty on such classics as Free Falling, I Won't Back Down, Running Down a Dream, and Learning to Fly, and Into the Great Wide Open. He produced 2 of Tom Petty's albums and co-wrote a couple of the songs with him as well, which were huge hits. And they did. You can sometimes hear a producer's stamp on something. If Phil Spector produced something in the 60s, you could tell he produced it. If Phil Collins from Genesis produces a song, you can tell that he did it. And if Jeff Lynne produces something, you can tell he's got his stamp on it, no matter who the artist is. Now, other artists Jeff Lynne has produced are Roy Orbison, Dave Edmunds, Brian Wilson from the Beach Boys. He produced a song off one of his albums. Joe Walsh from the Eagles. He worked on his Analog Man album. And Regina Spektor and Bryan Adams. I didn't know he produced, I think, Bryan Adams' last 2 or 3 songs on Bryan's last album, which was kind of cool. Now, in 1994, this is something big. Now, Jeff Lynne was an unapologetic, huge Beatles fan. If you listen to Mr. Blue Sky or some of the ELO songs from ELO, you can tell they sound a little Beatles-ish in their sound. Well, he loved the Beatles. But in 1994, the 3 surviving Beatles at the time approached Lynne to help them produce the new Beatles material from poorly preserved mono tapes containing some unfinished John Lennon demos that Yoko Ono had given to them. The resulting songs were Free as a Bird and Real Love. He also produced for the remaining Beatles individually as well on some of their albums. Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and George Harrison as well worked with George first and became good friends with him. Jeff Lynne posted a message on his Facebook page which read, "I'm very excited about this honor. Songwriting has always been my passion. This means so much to me. Thank you, Songwriters Hall of Fame." Now, that's got to be that would be like you getting a call maybe from, I don't know, Kenneth Branagh and Alan Rickman saying, Alan, I can't do this. I need your...
If Alan Rickman's calling me, that's going to be a special.
Come on, let's use our imagination. Hey, it could be a zombie movie. The Kenneth Branagh going, listen, I hear that you've directed some things and you got a radio show and stuff. I need to put together something on radio and stuff because I just need some help with it. Could you help me with it? Well, what would you say if Kenneth Branagh asked you to do that? Yeah. And you kind of became friends with him.
Yesterday.
How cool was it? And Jeff Lynne couldn't believe it. He goes, I'm producing the Beatles. There's a documentary about making of that Beatles anthology that Jeff helped them do. And he had to take this little cassette recording of John Lennon in front of a piano, recording it on an old tape recorder with a microphone. You know how the sound quality was on those. He had to take that song, strip it, remaster it, and get the other Beatles to sing on it with him to come up with these new songs. And they did it. They mixed it together, and like the Beatles were back again, together again, with John Lennon and all of them singing again for those two songs. How he goes, I was in there on the studio board, and they were in there singing like the Beatles. And just for a second, I'm like, I'm producing the Beatles. I can't believe I'm in here. I could just sit here and listen to them talk and not do a bloody thing. Right. I could just listen to them. And then when they got done with the music tracks, I'm paraphrasing here, he said they came into the control room, and they're like, Jeff, can you come in and listen to this and tell us if the harmony sounds okay? And he's like, you want me to check it? You're the Beatles. You want me? Okay, I'll come in to check it, sure. Yeah. He used other expletives that I can't use on the radio, but it was amazing. How cool would that be for that to happen to you? It's just amazing how you get to work with your people you grew up idolizing or being influenced by. Mm-hmm. And that's what he got to do. Quick rundown of ELO albums. They had 15 studio albums, 7 live albums, and 40 compilation albums. And they had to change their name. Jeff was in a legal battle over ELO back when they disbanded in 1986. And then one of the drummer named Bev Bevan, I think, spun off a group called ELO Part 2. And there were some kind of legal issues with the songs and them producing them or performing them live or something. So now Jeff Lynne changed the name a few years ago from ELO, Electric Light Orchestra, to Jeff Lynne's ELO, Possessive. So I guess he did that for business reasons. Same group, just kind of a different name, and he kind of was ELO anyway. He produced all the songs. He wrote all of them except Roll Over Beethoven. That remake was a Chuck Berry song, and they remade it, and it was a hit for them on the radio in 72 or 73, I think. But yeah, he was basically it. And I think on the last album he did, this last album, I think that he plays and sings. I played a snippet there of the song One More Time. I think he plays and sings and plays every instrument in it due to mixing. He played the drum tracks, he played the guitars, the bass, sang it, and everything, and the harmonies. So there you go. Great honor for them. I'm glad that they're in there. And I know you had to be happy, too, because aren't you happy when a group that you love gets recognized by something? And they haven't been for a while. Mm-hmm. I mean, they went a long time before ELO was even in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they were inducted just 2 or 3 years ago. And I was very happy to see that. And I was happy to see the group Yes be inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because when you get inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, sometimes other people will come that admire you from rock and induct you and speak and probably perform with you at the end of the show. Well, when Yes was inducted, Rush was on stage with them, Geddy Lee and them, because they loved Yes. They were big fans of them. And I think I may have sent you the video of them doing a Yes song with them. And it was a great video of seeing Rush and Yes together on stage because they liked them. They wanted to perform with them. Mm-hmm. And so Donnie Harrison, George Harrison's son, was with Jeff Lynne at their induction, which was kind of cool. He became good friends with him. If you've never seen Donnie Harrison, George Harrison's son, he looks exactly like him and sings like him. It's so eerie. It's BK on there. Boy, I wish we could do music. Wouldn't that be nice?
How about a movie, lovely lady?
As far as dog, but with a flick of my bick, I can see you're a hick.
Coffee, tea, or a flick of my bick?
Flick of the bick, sir? Oh, a flick of the bick, sir?
Why just light up when you can flick your Bic? It's smooth, easy on the thumb, and you get thousands of flicks from a single Bic. The Bic Butane.
Shh, stop flicking your Bic.
I'm running away from home. My parents are mean. Where'll you go? I'm not sure, but I'll show them.
That's right. You'll show them how mean you can be.
Shipwreck!
Isn't it better to try to solve problems instead of running away from them?
I could try talking to my parents again.
Yeah, tell them how you feel. And remember, running away
leads nowhere. Now I know. And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. Lawrence?
Hey, we're back. It's BK on there. Let's broaden our minds a little bit and talk about something that we both love. Let's talk about popcorn. This week, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, somewhere, it was National Popcorn Day. And I got this story from Fox News. Ann W. Schmidt, The history of popcorn, I thought I'd just hit on it because it's not today, but it was just a day or two ago or yesterday. According to the Popcorn Board, the oldest known ears of corn that were popped are from about 4,000 years ago and were discovered in current-day New Mexico in 1948 and 1950. I didn't know that. Meanwhile, History.com reported in 2018 that there were traces of popcorn in 1,000-year-old Peruvian tombs. Popcorn's been around, man.
That's awesome.
It's been around. Popcorn was also significant in the Aztec people for eating, ceremonies, and decorations, according to the Popcorn Board. I didn't even know there was a popcorn board. Can I be on that? The snack became a common food in American households by the mid-1800s, according to History.com. Popcorn was popular for late-night snacks by the fire and at picnics, the website reported. In the 1890s, Charles Cretors created the first popcorn popping machine, and by 1900 he created a horse-drawn popcorn wagon, which led to the mass consumption of the snack. Popcorn didn't hit movie theaters until the Great Depression, according to the Smithsonian. In fact, the movie theaters that started selling popcorn were able to survive the Great Depression, while other movie theaters had to close because of poor sales. And I guess that, to this day, is why the concessions are always higher. They always make more concessions. Well, they started on it from day one. The first microwave popcorn bag was patented by General Mills in 1981. Man, it just feels like it's been around forever, though, right? Microwave popcorn.
Well, 81 isn't exactly yesterday.
Well, for us,
you got to first invent the microwave.
For us, it is, but it just feels like it has been around. Today, Americans consume 15 billion quarts of popcorn per year, according to, again, the Popcorn Board.
Of
so
all of the snack foods, popcorn. Chips, pretzels, corn chips, all the kind of things that come in a bag.
Keep talking.
My favorite. If you had to say you could only have one snack food,
popcorn's perfect.
It's popcorn.
It's like one of the most perfect foods ever, and have it whatever way you want. To me, there might be a wrong way of doing it, but there is no wrong way of having popcorn. I just mostly like it with a little bit of hot butter on it and salt. My better half loves kettle corn, the sweeter kind, and I'm not really big on that.
I don't mind
it's
kettle
okay
corn.
if it's the only one around.
I don't mind Cracker Jack. I don't mind caramel corn, cheddar corn.
When you're a kid, they call
corn.
you a Cracker Jack. Did they call you Cracker Jack when you were a kid?
No.
I didn't get called that either. I wish I had. I got one more story here. Let's get into this while we're ticking up later in the hour here. The show's almost over. It goes by so fast. Did you ever shop at Party City? For anything? Did you ever go to Party City?
And my wife still does.
This story's from USA Today and a lot of other places. Party City files for bankruptcy as part of the $150 million agreement to restructure business. The company announced the news this past Tuesday. Their company filed for relief in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Texas, the release said. The move is part of an attempt to restructure and reduce the company's debt. Party City's companies outside the U.S., as well as franchise stores and businesses, are not part of the bankruptcy filing but are still part of the Party City enterprise, it says. The company currently has more than 800 Party City stores in over 45 states in America throughout the country and also runs a website for online shopping. Party City CEO Brad Weston said in the release that the pandemic and the global supply chain crisis were factors in the bankruptcy filing. What did I say to you off there about the pandemic's going to have repercussions? We're still going to feel them for a long time to come, I think, and this is another one. Quote, as we take this important step to put our business on stronger financial footing for the future, we are committed as ever to inspire joy by making it easy for our customers to create unforgettable memories, he said in the release. So there's another company, Party City, in financial trouble. I tell you what, they're great, for Halloween for kids and stuff like that. Now, don't expect to go to Party City and just buy a costume if you want to go impress people at Dragon Con or the 501st or Star Wars groups or something like that, because they don't accept stuff like that. That's like the Ben Cooper ones we used to wear as kids. They're not really real. They don't look that great, but they're okay for kids. But you need movie quality for other stuff. But for kids and stuff, and just to get party supplies at Party City, it was I guess it was the place to go. I mean, you could still go there. And I don't think they're closing everything. They're just restructuring, and they're in trouble. So I didn't know that. So poor Party City. There's still people suffering because of this dang thing that happened. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. I don't even want to I don't even want to say anything.
Nope.
That virus or whatever. I can't. It's terrible.
They didn't learn their lesson. The same people who made the mistake the first time are going to be happy to do it again.
Isn't that the definition of insanity?
Yep, same thing over and over, hoping for a different result.
Well, I don't know if I have enough time to do this. I'm going to try. But, yes, it's Benny Hill's birthday today, and I'd like to go out with at least something from Benny Hill because I'm a big fan.
Benny Hill Show! And here is Benny Hill!
Now I'm known as Dapper Dan, the lady killer man. And those that I don't kill or wound a bit. I run a fancy car, I call it the Mayflower, on account of all the Puritans who've come across in it. Now took 20-year-old Pam up to the wood near Boulder Dam, parked the car, thought that she'd know what to do. I said, get in the back now, Pam. She said, what the hell do you think I am? I want to stay on the front seat here with you. Whoa, give me an older woman every time, every time. Give me an older woman every time. Cause they don't yell and they don't tell and oh, they're grateful as hell. So give me an older woman every time. Now the day my Uncle Joe married my Aunt Flo, he was 44 and she was 69. That night as I lay on my bed, well, I heard every word they said. I couldn't help it because their room was next to mine. He said, how about it, dear? She pretended not to hear. He begged and pleaded till his voice was hoarse indeed. He said, oh, how about it, Flo? She said, how about what, Joe? He said, how about if I could have sit in a pair of us getting some sleep? Oh, give me an older woman every time, every time. Oh, give me an older woman every time. Cause they don't yell and they don't tell and oh, they're grateful as hell. So give me an older woman every time. Last year I divorced Maureen, now she was just 19, the day that she became my bony bride. She was as cold as charity, just as frigid as could be. Well, when she opened her mouth, a little light came on inside. Now, last week I met her at a party. I was feeling kind of gay and kind of hearty, and several whiskeys that sharpened up my wit. I said, how about a bit of whoopee? She said, over my dead body. I said, Maureen, gal, you haven't changed a bit. Oh, give me an older woman every time, every time. Give me an older woman every time. Cause they don't yell and they don't tell and oh, they're grateful as hell. So give me an older woman every time. Now, when I was just a boy, I took a little gal called Joy down to the meadow and we lay down by a hedge. I said, you know, my pretty little squaw, what your lovely lips are for? She said, to stop my mouth from fraying round the edge. Now, I tell you, my wife's 53, but you know, she still suits me, though of late her hearing, it really ain't so hot. But at night, as I lay on my bed, I put my lips up close to her head, and I say, well, you go to sleep or what? And she says, what? Oh, give me an older woman every time, every time. Give me an older woman every time. Cause they don't yell and they don't tell and oh, they're grateful as hell. So give me an older woman, a real hot-blooded woman, a right bitchy woman. Give me an older woman every time.
There he is, the lad himself, Benny Hill from the Benny Hill Show. The old song, Older Woman, from 1973. The Benny Hill Show didn't get over here until much later, the syndicated version. The ones we watched were older than they actually were when they aired over here. So when we were watching Benny Hill in 77, 78, 79, they're actually from the early 70s, and they were just going to catch up eventually. So, but he was much more popular outside of England and the rest of the world. People in England and London and UK, they didn't really care for him very much. I don't know why, because he was funny, but his success was everywhere else. He would go places and they had like thousands of people, would show up to see him get off the airplane wherever he would tour and stuff. And the very last thing he did was a special on, remember the USA Network here in America? I don't know if it's still around. It's called something else now, or it's
no, they have the
different.
USA
It's still USA. Mm-hmm. Back in, was it 91 or 92? He did a special, filmed it at Thames Television in London, but he sent it to the USA, aired it here in America, and it was his comeback thing. He'd been off for a while, so now he's trying to do a comeback thing in the early 90s, and it was a precursor to his signing a deal. He was going to sign a contract to do some specials in America. And right after that special was made, I think I'm getting the timeline right here. Right if it was made, I think it was a few weeks later, he died of a heart attack in his apartment by himself, sitting in his chair with the television on. The contract still sitting on the coffee table in front of him, just ready to sign and go forward with it. Michael Jackson was one of his biggest fans, and Michael wanted to be on it with him. At the time, Michael was still riding stardom.
Still alive.
But he wanted to, he wanted to be on it with him. He's a big fan of his. And it's a sad ending for Benny Hill. He had a flat apartment just outside of London somewhere. And his producer, Dennis Kirkland, they said they hadn't heard from him. He was supposed to be somewhere, and they hadn't heard from him, in a few days or whatever. And they tried to knock on his door. He didn't answer. And then somebody, I think it was somebody, either Dennis or one of the firemen, somebody had put a ladder up side of the apartments the flat where he was staying, walked up the ladder, looked inside the window. They could hear the television on because he used to watch TV up really loud. That's where he'd get a lot of his ideas. This is from the biography book they wrote. And he looked in the window, and Dennis describes, he says, I could see him sitting in the chair from the back. I could see his head, and he's just sitting in the chair. And I said, I'm rapping on the window, and he's not moving, and they're all really, they're like, oh, no, what's wrong? They have to go through the window, and there he is, slept in his chair, been dead for days from a heart attack. Can you imagine how that looks? But it was so cool because his producer was really, you could tell he was really sad about recanting the story on this biography story I was watching about Benny Hill. And he goes, they put him on the gurney, and they're about to wheel him out of his apartment for the last time. And he goes, he goes, before you leave, can I just straighten his hair before you take him out? So he just kind of just pushed his hair down and fixed his hair, and they took him away. And Dennis was, he looked at the camera. He goes, I had to do that for him. It was the last thing I could do for him, and he was gone. And it was a very, very sad and touching story. But what a phenomenon he was. My dad turned me on Benny Hill. I knew he would watch him. Then I started watching him, and I watched. At the time, as a kid, I watched Benny Hill for a different reason my dad did. When I was older, I watched it for the same reason my dad did, and I got it. So it was great. Benny Hill, happy birthday and rest in peace. It's BK on the air. We'll see you on the podcast, the BK Escape Pod.